say, look at me, look how successful I am, when they really bought into it. Now, having said that, that's not illegal to go from one company to another. But it would be better if there was disclosures to say, yeah, they pay me a lot of money to get volume for this new MLM, and that's why I brought my group over here. You know, I'm sure they would also say, plus they have the best products in the world, just like they said about their previous MLM. So they would say things like that also. But it would be nice, you know, to have a little bit more disclosure when people move around, because that's one of the things that people get caught up in with the, you know, the excitement of this new MLM and how it's quote unquote exploding, you know, growing rapidly. But that's why it grows rapidly normally, is they buy the volume from, you know, someone that has a lot of people in their downline, and they get paid to bring them over. So I would prefer that Tim, if he's going to be against that he also talk about really illegal things, because that's, you know, as much as you may not like that, it's not illegal. It's probably not good disclosure. But what he doesn't talk about are the tool scams like Amway. Why doesn't Tim Sales speak up about Amway's tool scam, which is by far, in my opinion, much worse than people hopping from one MLM to another. So that's, you know, that's an issue I have with him, just from a consistency standpoint. And by the way, Peter, to your earlier point, I did invite Tim on this show a couple of years ago, I think it was, and I never heard back from him. So that's the end of that, unless you can dredge him back up. But I don't think he's going to want to come on a show where he's going to be asked questions that he cannot answer without looking in pretty bad position. But Glenn, go ahead and comment on you know, the high-level distributors, you know, jumping from MLM to MLM, and sort of the you know, the inaccurate picture that paints to people.
Well, just on Tim Sales not coming on your show, lots and lots of I've seen lots and lots of high-profile anti-MLM YouTubers invite Tim on, and he hasn't accepted any offers. I think Tim Sales will only go onto shows when he knows what the questions are going to be, and he's approved those questions. So, yeah, he's never been interviewed by anyone who's critical. He's only ever done softball interviews. And the guys moving around, I think this is a bit of a tactic too. The Netflix, I can't think of the lady's name. She's an actor on a Netflix show called Atypical. And I think what's happened there is the company's paid her money to become a distributor in the MLM. And it looks to the outside like she's chosen to do MLM, when the reality is that she's been paid to go across to MLM. So she's sort of getting a wage, plus she's doing it. And because she's got this massive pool of fans, people are joining just so they can get close to her. I think that's a bit of a concerning trend too.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that happens from time to time, where celebrities either join MLMs and they bring their followers with them, or they are hired by the MLM to promote the MLM. It happened just recently with the Olympics. There's a woman, I think, I want to say either Japan or China, who did, I think she was a silver medalist or something in the Olympics that just happened. And obviously she has followers, and, you know, she's now a spokesperson for, I believe it was Amway, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, she has credibility based on her silver medal. And so that causes a lot of people to join Amway and other MLMs. And that's a very common tactic too. You know, for example, Herbalife has their name plastered across the front of the soccer jerseys of the Los Angeles Galaxy, I think is their name, the soccer team, which you would call football around the world, but we call it soccer in the United States because we have our own American brand of football. But yeah, go right ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, but this girl isn't a spokesperson. She's actually an IBO. She's claiming to be an IBO, but I'm almost positive that getting a wage as well, but they're not disclosing the wage. They're just talking about her as a distributor, which is so far from the truth. It's not funny.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple other celebrities just on social media. You know, people are pointing out that this celebrity or that celebrity actually joined an MLM. So yeah, they have maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of followers. And so, you know, particularly when they join an MLM, everybody wants to be associated with that person, so they join too. And it's a bad thing.
But I think our job is
that in itself, I think, wouldn't be a problem if there weren't losers in the equation.
Right.
So my ethical question is, if it's win-win-win all across the board and there's no losers in the equation, that's good. But sometimes those celebrities bring people in and they draw them in and there's losers in the equation, and the losers are those new people that are signing in and losing money. So it's a typical almost pyramid where the people up on top are being paid based on the money that's coming in from the newest people, and it's a different form of a pyramid or Ponzi scheme. So that's where the celebrity issue is an issue. But if a celebrity joined something that was good and there were winners in the equation, then that'd be a pretty good formula. But unfortunately, there's not too many of those, if any, around that I've ever seen. So back to you, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
I think what we need to do is when a celebrity comes out and says, I'm an IBO, we need to be saying, hey, why is this celebrity recommending something that's got a 99.7% loss rate? And we need to be calling them out that they're telling their fans to join something that has a 99.7% loss rate. Because that is it's not in the best interest of the fans to be doing something with, they're a 1 in 300 chance of winning on. I mean, they'd be better off telling their fans to go and gamble at a casino because they're statistically a bigger chance of winning at the casino than what they are getting into MLMs.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best, short explanation on why MLMs are bad is that 99.7% loss rate. In fact, the one thing I have agreed with Robert Fitzpatrick, because I'm a fair guy, I give him a lot of grief for his clinging to the saturation theory, but he did come up with a thought recently that the 99.7 is actually a lowball number because that's kind of a snapshot over a 1-year period.
Exactly.
What happens over multiple years is most of those 99.7 drop out only to be replaced with another 99.7. And so if you look at like 5 years, it's probably 99.99%, somewhere in that neighborhood, because it's only I won't say only, it's mostly the people at the top, because every once in a while someone breaks through, but it's mostly the people at the top that continue to be making money, and the other 99+% are being changed out every year to the point of, it's even worse than 99.7. So if you look at it over a time period longer than a year, so it's a good point that Robert made. He doesn't make very many good points, so I want to give him credit when he does. So I'm just a fair kind of guy like that. All right, so go ahead.
Just one last thing on that. If the celebrity came out and told people to gamble, go to a casino, and always bet on red, they would be absolutely crucified for it. But that is far, far better advice than to join an MLM. Going to a casino and betting on red every time, that's fantastic advice in comparison with an MLM.
Yes, that's a very good way to illustrate how bad it is. Yes, I agree. And you do have a statistically better chance if you bet all on red every time.
Far better.
Wherever. Yes.
Far better.
Far better. Yep. So my next comment was sales uses this pipeline model, which is basically, and I kind of agree with him on this concept. Any business or even the church or, no matter what organization you're talking about, there's this pattern to get other people involved. You first contact them, say hi. It could be something as simple as that, and then you, sort of see if they're interested, and then if they are, you show them the whole deal, and then you make them either a distributor or a customer. And he was using this sort of pipeline model as an illustration of how to get customers, but it was kind of a false idea since there's so few customers in MLMs. What it's used for mainly is getting new distributors, new IBO'S, not customers. But he was trying to play up the idea of even taking customers through this pipeline model, and he was leaving people that didn't know the situation, are not familiar with the scenario of MLMs. He was leaving them the clear impression that this is how you can get lots of customers in your business, and it just does not reflect reality. But again, Tim